Welcome back, everyone. Today we have another dream analysis video, and this one is a very dark dream. I've been promising this one for a while now. It's called The Beast in the Cage, and it's not so much a reoccurring dream as it's a dream that I revisit. So there's a difference there. It's not happening to me over and over again. I'm coming back to it, and I have similar dreams constantly whenever I come back to this landscape. It can sometimes be an interlude in between dreams or an epilogue at the end of my dreams. Sometimes I'll come back to this place, and it's troubled me for many, many years, but I've come to the point now where I think I truly understand it, and I want to lay it out for you guys and analyze it today. I know a lot of people watching this video have probably had similar dreams to this dream, so hopefully this is beneficial for some of you guys out there. As always, if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends to help boost this channel and the algorithm. And if you guys want to share your dreams and have them analyzed here on the channel, definitely let me know down below in the comments. You guys can share your dreams down there. Let me know if I can do it on the channel. And yeah, let's get into it. So I'll describe the dream first as it happens, as it plays out for me. And then we'll go through it element by element, detail by detail, and we'll pull it apart for its psychological significance. So I start in an apocalyptic landscape. I don't know exactly how to describe it to you, but it's just dead everywhere. Wasteland, dark. It feels like there hasn't been a sun in the sky for centuries. And I can feel that I can orientate myself so that there's something on my left and something on my right. Now, in dreams, that matters. What's on the right and what's on the left matters. And on my left is a cage. And in that cage is a beast. And the beast looks nothing like anything from this world. If I had to describe it with animals that do exist, I would say it's somewhere in between a bear, a lion, and a gorilla. But it's got all sorts of different elements to it that I can't exactly describe. It's a pure beast, truly terrifying, a true monster. And next to that cage is another smaller cage, a little cage. And in that cage is a man who looks starved. He looks absolutely depraved. He's naked and he's curled up, usually in a fetal position. It depends on how I approach the dream, but usually, he's on the floor curled up. And then to my right, away from these cages, way out in the distance, is a city, and I can only see the skyline really and the buildings. I don't really see any lights, but I can tell that there's people in it. I can tell that it's an inhabited city, but it's far away towards my right. So you can already see here that on the left is kind of my chaos, my beast, my shadow, and on the right we have order, we have civilization, society, way out in the distance. Now, when I approach the cage, or the cages I should say, there's two different possibilities. One is I come up to the cage and the beast is dejected and small and kind of closed off, and the beast doesn't really have any aggression. It's tamed. To the right of that cage is the cage with the man in it, and when the beast is tamed like that and smaller, the man in the cage looks healthy. He looks fine. He's standing straight up. Now, he's still naked and he's still raw in some form, but he's healthy. He's fine. Sometimes when I approach the cage, it's the opposite. The beast in the cage is large and it's prowling around what little it can. Sometimes it's so big it can barely fit in the cage and it's almost bursting out of the cage. And it's angry. It's filled with rage. I can tell that it wants to burst out of the cage. And I look over again to the man's cage, and the man is now curled up in a fetal position, and he looks starved, like he's about to die, like a concentration camp victim. And I can tell in those moments that the beast wants out. And sometimes I do let that beast out of the cage. And when that beast comes out, it doesn't attack me, but it goes right for the city. And usually at this time, I'll either kind of float away, maybe have another dream and come back to this, or I'll just sit and think for a second and kind of get distracted. And then I'll look over to the city and I'll see it again. And now the beast is larger than the city. Now it looks like Godzilla is just wreaking havoc on everybody, just destroying everything. And it's at that moment when the man in the cage doesn't so much talk to me, but communicates to me that I need to get the beast back in the cage, or else that man in the cage is going to die. So I don't really say anything to the beast either. I just look at it, stare at it, look at it directly with a firm gaze, and it comes back. And as it comes back, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller until it's about the size it was when it left the cage. And then I put it back in the cage, and that's usually the end of the dream. So that concludes the dream itself. Now let's take it apart, because it's a very, very strange dream. It's dark. It's not so much violent, but it's very, very dark. And I want to take this apart for people because I feel like some people watching this video have probably had similar dreams to this one. Maybe you could see elements in your own dream that align with the ones that are in my dream, and you could see how you've had similar dreams akin to this one. So what does the apocalyptic landscape represent, and why am I in an apocalyptic, destroyed, degraded world with no sun and no light? Well, this represents my inner world collapsed into its essence. Now, it's in a state of negrito, which means blackening. It's just a fancy Latin word for blackening. But this doesn't so much mean that it's the end or it's death, or it's the end-all be-all, but it's a place of transformation. Now, it's basically the opposite, the direct inverse of the place of transformation that I analyzed in my last dream analysis video when I took on the subscriber's dream when we talked about the golden mechanism. That took place in the opposite setting. It took place in the sky, in heaven, in the ethereal realm, right? It was light and cloudless. It's the complete opposite of where my dream's taking place. My dream is taking place in the underworld, in the abyss, but it's still a place of transformation. Both places are places of transformation, so I hope that makes sense. And then on the left, on the sinistra manus, which is Latin for the left hand, we have the darkness, the unconscious, the sinister, the malevolent, the beast, the shadow. You know, also the feminine can be found on the left too, and that's also, I need to make this point clear in every single dream analysis video I do. Every time I talk about Jungian psychology, I need to make it clear that just because the feminine is on the left, it's on the side of chaos, does not mean that women are all chaotic and women are all evil. Okay, I need to make that clear because some people they'll fudge the lines, or they'll make assumptions about what I'm saying that I don't actually mean. When I'm talking about left, right, good, evil, it's kind of all on a spectrum here. So you can't place women on the side of evil. It's almost like man, woman, evil, good, if that makes any sense. So I hope that helps for you guys to kind of conceptualize this in your head. It took me a long time to get it. When I was first introduced to Jungian psychology and reading it, you know, I was often confused on why femininity was always on the left. Why is it always chaotic? Why is it always evil? It's not. Okay, so make sure that that's clear. But on the left, like I said, we have magic, right? We have the abstract, the unconscious. And we have two beings that are part of myself. They are aspects of me. Now, they are the active man and the passive man. That is what they represent, the beast and the naked man. I like to refer to them as the inner beast and the inner bitch. That's how I like to refer to them, and I refer to those in everyday life. When I'm working out, I'm letting the inner beast out, right? I'm becoming aggressive, not violent so much. I'm not punching the ground when I'm doing push-ups, but, you know, I'm pushing hard off of the ground. I'm trying to exercise will, exercise power, and that comes from the active man, or the inner beast. And then the inner bitch, which is not always a negative thing, is the more passive man. Is not the man who's going out there to exert power or will, but more so the man who goes out there to listen, right? That's more of the positive aspect of it, but it can also be inaction. It can also be weakness at times, and that's kind of reflected in my dream here. Here's two other ways to think about it that I like to use. So I'll oftentimes wear a crucifix, right, on my chain here. Now, I have two chains. I have a silver one and a gold one. Now you might be asking why. Why do you have silver and gold? Don't you have a preference between the two? I don't. I really do not have a preference. If I do, maybe I slightly prefer gold, but I think that only reflects my mental state, not my preference of color. I'm a more active man. But I see gold as the active color and silver as the passive color. So when I put a chain on, I'll kind of feel how I'm feeling that day. And if I'm feeling a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more like, oh, this is going to be a passive day, I'm going to be chill today, I might wear the silver chain to kind of reflect that. And I'll do the opposite if I'm feeling more invigorated. I want to go out there and force my will on the world. I want to, do stuff. I want to be active. I might wear my gold chain. Now, another way to think about this is with jersey color, actually. Funny enough, to tie this to sports for a second. As a kid, I noticed this, and I actually kept track of this. This just shows you how interested I was in psychology from a very young age. But when I was a young kid playing hockey, I noticed very early on that the white jerseys made you play differently than the black jerseys. So I would have, my white jerseys when we played at home and the black jerseys when we played away. And every time I put the black jersey on, and my teammates felt this too, I talked to my teammates and made sure that they felt the same way. Every time I'd put the black jersey on, I'd feel more aggressive. Like I want to go out there and hit everybody because I got this mean black jersey on. They're wearing white. That's a soft color. It's the color of sheep, right? I got the black coat on. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to hit some people. And I would play more aggressive when I wore the black jersey. Now, when I wore the white jersey, I would play more skillfully. I'd play more passively. I wouldn't really hit people as much as I'd be trying to do more skill moves. And I would notice this when I would watch other teams play. I would keep track of it. I'd be like, okay, which team's hitting more? Is it the team with the dark jerseys or the team with the light jerseys? Now, it's not perfect because hockey games are aggressive by nature and both teams have to hit in order to stay in the game, right? You have to throw your weight around. You have to be aggressive. But I did find that usually, most of the time, the black team, the team with the black jerseys, would be more aggressive. They would hit more than the white team. So it's interesting how these colors, whether it be silver or gold or white and black, can kind of reflect these states of the passive or active man. So what is the beast? It is the chaotic viability of the self, the unlived life, the raw libido. It is numinous, terrifying, a vessel of repressed power. That's what the beast represents. Now, what does the man represent? The passive man is the rejected ego, the portion of you sacrificed in favor of containment. When the beast is strong, the man is starved. When the beast is tamed, the man thrives. They are in sympathetic opposition, two sides of the same coin, showing the two faces of man. The duality of man is expressed here in the beast and the starved man. Now, what is the city? Well, the city is society. It's the superego, the collective order. It's also my future. It lies in the distance, meaning that it's a path that has yet to be traveled. But the beast approaches the city with destruction and chaos in mind. It's tearing everything down. So what does that mean? Well, that means when the shadow is repressed, when it's not integrated properly, chaos spills over. And it can sometimes be uncontrollable, and it will seep through your unconscious, through your subconscious, and it'll bubble up in your life in ways that you can't predict. Now, I think you can see this throughout history in many, many cases. I can point to so many. But the one case that I've studied the most, the one man in history who I've studied more than anybody, is Adolf Hitler. And I've seen this pattern play out throughout his life. He never integrated his shadow properly. He never integrated the hateful feelings that he has inside of him, or had inside of him. He was brilliant, very, very talented, a will like nobody else, and true, raw oratory ability on a level that I've never seen anywhere in history. I mean, he could command crowds like nobody else. And he truly was smart. And he had, like I said, willpower, supreme willpower. But when you analyze his mind deeper, when you break down his psychology and you pick apart his character, what you find, most of all, is an unintegrated shadow that spilt over throughout the 30s and then extremely in the 40s. Europe burning around him, his country in ruins, everything collapses. Pushed in from all sides, right? The Americans coming in on the left, the Russians coming in on the right, and nothing left of Germany. All because he didn't integrate his shadow correctly. He didn't integrate those feelings that he had, those hateful feelings. Now, we can go deeper into a psychological analysis of Hitler at some point in the future, but I just use that as an example because to me, that's one of the most prominent ones from history. So the last thing that I want to take away from this dream is just the stages. And I want you guys to think about these stages and meditate on them a little bit, especially if they really relate to a dream that you have had yourself. So when the beast is tamed, the man is well. When the beast is raging, the man is dying. When the beast is freed, the city is destroyed. And when the beast is confronted, it shrinks. So I think that last bit there is the most important. It's been echoed throughout history in so many stories. One of my favorites is in Exodus when the Israelites are in the desert and they're being bitten at the ankles by snakes. And Moses says to them, he puts a snake on a rod and he tells them to look at the snake on the rod and the snakes will stop biting you. Look at your fear. Look at it. And the beast will shrink. And I think that that's right. When you confront your shadow, when you look at it, the beast shrinks. And it's manageable and you can integrate it. You can't integrate it when it's too big for its cage. And you definitely can't integrate it when you free it on society and you let it trample over everything untamed. So you have to look at it. And how do you do that? Well, I laid that out a little bit in a video that I made, Are we doomed to commit evil? And in that video I said as well that the beast, that the shadow, that the devil on your shoulder, the evil voice in your head, it often creeps up your spine. It creeps up from behind you. You can't exactly see it. And it whispers to you, right? It whispers in your ear. And it's not so much that you can distinguish between that voice and the good voice because you can always tell when the good voice is talking to you. You can always tell. It's clear when the good voice on your shoulder, when your conscience is speaking to you correctly, you know that it's right. You know in your heart. But you can't tell when the evil voice is trying to mimic it, when it's trying to copy the same cadence. So be aware of that. And also, again, look at your shadow. Like I've said before, stare at evil in its face. I think the more you dive into the evil of the world, whether you study evil totalitarian dictators like Hitler, Mao, and Stalin, or whether you're more interested in studying serial killers like David Parker Ray, Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, all of those horrible individuals, I think the more you look into them, and I think the wider range you cast, I would look into both sides, but I think the more you look into the face of evil, the more you will see that it's right here. It's in you. That same evil is in you. That same potential for raw and powerful destruction is within you. The ability to destroy cities is truly within you, and you need to confront that. So that's the lesson that I want to pull out of this dream today. That's the lesson that I've pulled out of it after analyzing it many, many times. I still return to this dream ever so often, but it's one that actually comes up less and less the older I get. So maybe that's a sign that I'm truly integrating my shadow properly. At least I hope so. So if you found this analysis useful, educational or entertaining, definitely let me know by liking and subscribing and sharing this with all your friends. And definitely let me know down below in the comments if you guys want your own dreams analyzed on this channel. I really like analyzing other people's dreams. It's a little bit easier for me. I'll always come back to that Marie-Louise von Franz quote where she says, it's easier to analyze other people's dreams than your own because your own dreams are actually revealing to you what is unconscious to you. So it can be difficult at times, if not impossible at times, to analyze your own dreams. So it takes a steady hand, and I would love to analyze some of your dreams more on this channel. It's been a lot of fun so far. So like I said, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends to help boost this channel and the algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, it means the world to me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.